How's it going, everybody? It's Man Tomorrow here. Thank you guys for coming through. I want you guys to be able to hit a one in the chat if you could be able to hear me, so that way I can lay out this plan for you, and that way you can understand where these things are going and why it's going that way. And we need to do this every single week, so that way you can see how there is not any progression among this group of people that I'm a part of, because we specifically don't follow simple directions. What's going on, Lone Wolf? What's going on, JR? What's going on, Have from Uptime? The reason why we have to have this conversation is because you're being leveraged. Your ignorance of how the process works is being leveraged by two groups of people. Oh, Sigma, it isn't not just, you're right. You're right. What's going on, Gotcha? One of the best YouTubers who's not YouTubing anymore. So you need to understand that this is a very simple issue. And the fix is also very simple. Make sure y'all hit the like button upon coming in, because you need to realize that Tierson Johnson, Bernard Riley, BGS Edmore, Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black, Professor Black Truth, etc., at all, are running the same game on you. A couple of these people are doing it from the right, but most of these people are doing it from the left. So let's start at the top of the ticket with BGS Edmore. This guy lives in California. There's a very specific party that is in control of California. You know who BGS Edmore voted for in the presidential election? Kanye West. What was Kanye West's platform? What did he want to do? What did he talk about doing? So for a person who shares all this intellectual shit when it comes to black men supposedly, why on earth would he put his political eggs in the basket of Kanye West and vote for him? How much sense does that make? What's going on, DC? Okay. I read Tierson Johnson's 16-point plan. It is a good plan. However, Tierson Johnson is not out here pushing this plan to either party. You want to know why? That involves getting your fucking feet wet. That means pushing your actual platform to people. But why do that when you could just simply do live streams and engage in victim mentality bullshit when it comes to black men? Everything is always leveraging some sort of problem with black men. There is no way to get to the money. There is no way forward without leaving this woman the fuck alone. The bad woman. Remember, all these men are so-called conservative, and they care about the community so much that all of their problems stem from the same liberal woman that they refuse to leave the fuck alone. No one has ever gotten any type of political power anywhere in the world, anywhere in history, by trying to fight for sexual politics. Sexual politics is a personal problem. What's going on, Doug? Sexual politics and actual cultural things are things you fight for when you don't want to actually fight for any other issue. It's so transparent that it's obvious. Tierson Johnson did the same thing that Ice Cube did. He come up with a plan of a whole lot of socialism. He didn't follow the actual process to get his plan in place. And it gets credit for leveraging the collective ignorance of black men because they don't know how the process works. It's called spiritualogical. Remember, he's on the left. He has to be on the left. Okay, you got Bernard Raleigh, you got your LAR movements, you got your O'Shea's, who this is not about. You have your Obsidians, you have your Angry Mans. Supposedly these people are on the right, yet none of these individuals are even trying to put their plans into action or order anywhere. You want to know why? They have the same plan that Tia Johnson and all these people on the left have. They want to maintain these issues so that way they can get paid and compensated off of these issues not being fixed. Yes, it's really not that hard. Listen, I live in Denver, the Denver metro area. The way we got rid of this shit is the moment you get on the microphone, talk about reparations or any of that stupid ass shit, we cut the microphone off and we go to somebody else. You want to know why? If you gave people reparations, they're not coming back for any other issue. I want you to understand that. The evangelical Christians have been fighting for 48 years for abortion to get overturned in the United States. You now have a conservative majority Supreme Court that has never been friendly to working class people, both black, white, Latino, whatever, that has never been friendly toward not expanding the police state. This is the track record. This is the same Supreme Court justices that stopped the count in 2000 when it came to Bush v. Gore. The same Supreme Court that said that money is speech when money is clearly property. So that way, corporations, the big one, can run the actual political process by just donating large sums of money. Again, the child I chose, I get the most out of because the only thing I need once you have your money together, of course, Gore received more votes, and he actually won. But the Supreme Court decision was to stop the counting of votes. Again, when you have Sandog, who appears to be a conservative, dude, you got to stop leveraging your actual experience with a goddamn tank. It has nothing to do with blackmail politics within this space. I get so sick and tired of military veterans, because I'm one myself, re-leveraging pieces of the military experience to justify their non-participation in the actual process the way it's supposed to go. What's going on, JP Hives? What's going on with Guard right now? So you have to understand this. If your platform is set up for complaining about women that you can obviously avoid, this is your problem. And this is why this is why I'm mad at the women. Why? Why am I mad at the women? Because there's still dudes left here complaining about the woman. They obviously want to be with you. They obviously want to be on child support. They obviously want to deal with the same individuals without any sort of forward progress. What's going on? So you have to understand this. What I'm saying is not hard to understand. It's very easy. Remember, let's turn the clocks back 5 years ago. 5 years ago, before there was a Donald Trump coming down the escalator, everyone knew what happened during the Bush administration. Everyone knew the response to Hurricane Katrina. Everyone knew that. But the moment there was an opportunity to focus the conversation on sexual politics, because that's what the Donald Trump thing was about. It was about for dumbass men who wanted to feel like they were a man because a dude grabbed some woman by the genitals and they thought that shit was the greatest shit ever. But see, this style of conservatism and this style of liberalism is history neutral. No one talks about or covers anything that has to do with anything unless black women are involved, unless gay people are involved. Everything that most black men in the Black Manosphere actually covers has to do with leveraging the LGBT community or leveraging when black women step out of line. And they broadcast that over the entire populace. Yes, it is a voter disenfranchising information. They know full well that they're doing it. I could pull up Tariq Nasheed's or Jason Black's or Professor Black Truth or any one of these dudes' track records, video-wise. You would never see any type of, okay, let's do a voter registration drive. This is going to be our issue. The one singular issue that we're going to focus on. And it can't be reparations, and it cannot be something else. Child support-based issues. Your issues have to dovetail with everybody else's issues. On my community tab, I have posted to my community tab when I went home last year for homecoming, when I stayed in the Hollywood Casino and Hotel. This is last year. That's what the water looked like. That is not tea. That is water that's coming right out of the faucet. And Tunica is not an area where you have a lot of black people at either, even though it's still technically in the Delta. The same thing that's going on there is the same thing that's going on in Jackson right now. So you can't say that Mississippi was under some great liberal ass rule at some place. It was never that. They were always ruled by conservatism and conservatism, mostly religious and mostly evangelical Christian based. What's going on, spiritual alcohol? Guys in this space have that just because of an arm of feminism, because there's no focus on men mastering themselves or building or creating their environment or conforming to existing functional. You are correct, sir. As much as this shit we complain about feminism, you know what helps feminism more? Unfocused men who's willing to take any deal. Oh, Volcanoes, thank you for the send out super chat. That's the problem here. Men who are willing to take a deal no matter what. Men who are willing to tune in to game dudes. Men who are willing to watch Fresh and Fit. Men who are willing to watch any of these call-in shows where these barely serviceable women get to side your ass down like ripe corn because you'll do anything from attention from the opposite sex and you won't focus on building yourself. Yeah. I'm about to go back home next week, and I'm going to be staying at a hotel in Cleveland, Mississippi. And I guarantee you, when I take a picture of that water in Cleveland, Mississippi, it's going to be no different than the water in Jackson. No different than the water in Tunica. No different. So you guys have got to understand this. If you're not going to focus on productivity or something that is very productive, that does not involve sexual politics or focusing on the LGBT community in any way, shape, form, or fashion, you're going to lose. And you're going to continue to lose. And I very much endorse not bringing black men into anything until they can prove that they can talk about something else other than these two issues. Yes, getting behind environmental fairness is something that all people benefit from. That's a very easy issue. I guarantee you right now, you could go to Yazoo City, Mississippi, one of the most racist places in the fucking America, or Philadelphia, Mississippi. You can easily get cooperation with whites in that area based off of this one issue. Based off of this one issue. What are we doing? We're trying to re-leverage sexual politics back into the conversation. When this is something that you have to solve on your own. You can't fix liberal women who have way more power than you in society. You can't do that. It's impossible to do. This is how predictable you guys are. Yeah, man, congratulations on that TWIC card, man. Lana McTow. Congratulations on that. So you have to understand what I think whatever the show was on MSNBC. I forget what the name of the woman is. I should have that, by the way. But these dumb motherfuckers know what I'm talking about. You expect all of the left to do things for you, but you don't ask for shit on the right. But most of you people are on the right. Well, Jay Quan, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. I'm saying this. There are people on the right that I work with in the Denver metro area. They are also part of the Urban League. They are also part of the Black Chamber of Commerce. They are not like these gaslighting and trolling and trying to subsequently end most power across the political spectrum. Because when you walk into a room with Catholics, with Arabs, with Indians, with Asians, you got to bring something to the table so that way we all can work together. What happens when we're trying to get something for all our prospective groups, religiously or otherwise? I probably work with more religious groups than non-religious groups. As an atheist, I work heavily with religious organizations. I have a lot of respect for religious organizations. You want to know why? Religious organizations can quickly organize people for a very specific thing. How would I look walking into a room with all these individuals and start talking about sexual politics? It's very easy. If you don't want to be on child support, don't date or interact with people who's known for putting you on child support. That's where we're at. And we're continuously going to be here because you got men who want to leverage the collective ignorance of people. So when that woman was bringing up Kevin Samuels, what was Kevin Samuels here to do? He was here to, on one hand, chastise women because people thought that chastising these same women that your ass was going to settle for, what's going on, Ramil, was somehow going to get them in order. He was organizing a car crash between two groups of people. Now, people who actually love their daughters, they seen exactly what this dude was doing. But the dudes who didn't give a damn about their daughters, who wanted to keep dudes trapped here so that way their daughter can get off the market, those were the people who thought that that message was going to work. It didn't. It took a lot of air out of the room for the Manosphere. Because the Manosphere was supposed to be a note-sharing experience, so that way you wouldn't get in the middle of all these problems that other men have went through, that other men have tried to organize again, the men's right movement, etc. Yep, you're right. But see, if you guys don't understand this, when are you going to understand it? If you connected yourself to tangibles and outcomes. If you are an outcome-based thinker, there is no way you would put a specific type of liberal woman in your future plans. But you're so dumb that you actually think that you're going to run this game on this woman who has a 100% knockout ratio, but you're willing to go through it just so that way you can get a piece. This is what I call these Manosphere deserters. Most times in the military, when you desert, nobody goes to rescue you when you take your ass over to the enemy camp. And I am okay with these type of women existing in large number. You want to know why? It'll let me know the men who are not serious about their own power. They've always represented that. These women are not doing anything wrong. They're merely waiting on the next sucker who's going to practice game to get guaranteed consequences. And then you're going to go blame the Democratic Party because you can't control your own dick. You want to be on this conservative shit, but you don't want to believe in the actual discipline piece of stand away from people that don't have your good interests, especially the future one, at heart. You see, that's why we have statistics. Statistics are supposed to tell you this is how these things are currently going. If I deal with this person in this specific type of environment, there's a high likelihood and chance that I'm going to end up just like the statistics say. Then we have the nerve to try to leverage the black boys that was given to the very women by these undisciplined men. Okay, so you didn't give a damn about who you gave the boys to in the first place, right? Now you want to try to re-leverage these broken boys into somebody that you can re-lead back into the same women. Make it make sense to me. The Manosphere completely skipped over the white Manosphere as well. When Marco Rubio came up with that bill about having child support since conception, right after Mississippi's abortion bill went through for 6 weeks. It was overturned by the Supreme Court. The entire Manosphere skipped over that. Men collectively lost power there. What's going on, Red Planet Photography? None of these people that I just named, they didn't cover it. They didn't cover it. Because if you covered it, you would know that most of these conservative legislatures are the very legislatures that actually passed that bill. Again, the abortion issue is not an issue that productive men worry about. It's never been an issue that productive men worried about. I care about pro-life shit outside of that. I don't think that I should have better health care than anybody else in this chat or anywhere else just because I'm a military veteran. I don't think I deserve better health care than you. I think that everybody should have the equal chance of the same health care that I have a part of. I don't even believe in insurance companies. Insurance companies don't provide health care. Health people provide health care. Insurance companies stop health care from being actually performed. So if there is an anti-life model out there, it is definitely HMOs and insurance companies. Again, another very easy issue that black men can actually organize for. Universal health care. Look at our medical outcomes for us. It's a win-win issue. I dare you to go over to any place. There's not a person who's going to say, yeah, I want worse health care. Or I think I deserve less than better health care than most military veterans in this country. Or I deserve less than better health care than actual politicians that I send to Washington. These are winning issues. The environmental situation is a winning issue. Job training is a winning issue. You wouldn't have to be worried about immigrants taking your fucking jobs if you had went into these fields before they got their ass here. You really thought that we was going to hold the entire system hostage and the business community wasn't going to do what the hell they needed to do because we wasn't going to go into these jobs? The business cycle is not going to stop, folks. And if you don't pick up those jobs, they're going to have to go somewhere else to get them. The military-industrial complex cannot function on American labor by itself. You don't need a candidate for that, sir. You don't need a candidate for that. What you need is, like most judges, okay, this is a very good question for Red Planet Photography. Question MOT. Can we get a men's right candidate that will fight for paternity fraud, caps on child support, and charges on women that report false domestic charges and rape charges? Dude, you don't need a candidate for that. You don't need a candidate for that. Most of these judges are on the ballot. Every single year, they run unopposed. Okay, the next time you go vote, most of these judges that you see on the ballot, they're running unopposed. They're running unopposed. How hard is it? Because I'm going to tell you exactly how to get this issue solved, Red Planet Photography. How hard is it to go to attorneys within a specific framework, like divorce attorneys, for instance, and you find out if attorneys had to judge shop, because that's what attorneys do. Whenever they have their cases in front of people, they judge shop. They judge shop who their case is going to be seen in front of. So that way they can have a better chance and better opportunity at winning the actual case, no matter what it is. Whether it's a person that they went to school with, whether these people are part of the same fraternity, etc. That's how power works. It's not hard to go to one of these attorneys and say, which judge should we put and fund to be on the ballot to deal with our specific subsegment of issues? A lawyer can rattle off, if they're good, a numerous of different judges. Numerous different judges who don't believe what this guy or girl is doing is right, and this is the candidate that you should fund. This is exactly how power works. And here's the thing. All this money you're paying out of child support, you could probably pay a tenth of that to actually fund an actual candidate that's going to do exactly what you need to do. Because most of these judges run unopposed. If there was a front in the Manosphere to take it that far, I'm not talking about going out broadcasting this shit to people. I'm talking about getting money together and actually going to fight this stuff head on. It wouldn't even be an issue. It wouldn't even be an issue. I believe in all that stuff. All that stuff is covered under equal protection under the law. What's going on, Johnny Blaze? Again, once you start electing people to office, you get to start picking what the agenda is. Most of the American people get sold out for less than $5,000 or $10,000. It's a very easy process that doesn't involve doing all these grandiose things that you think it causes. Now think about, before I told you this information, of how specifically how this stuff works. What's going on, Nicole? You really think any of these people in the manosphere that leverage the collective ignorance of black men was going to tell you simply how to solve this problem? They were never going to give you that information on how to solve this problem. Why you think my name is the Man of Tomorrow? I've already been through all this shit. I already know how all this shit works. I already know. But thinking that you're going to take a political situation hostage when you have the coalition build and work with other people and their issues to get your issue concentrated on, if you don't understand that, then you don't understand politics. It is forbidden from my Arab friends to talk about their politics with anybody outside of their group. There are no live streams about it. There are nobody creating any type of content around it. They sit and meet like men, decide on something. Like, that's the thing, David Drencher. They don't want to hire a surrogate. They want to deal with the same sub-demographic of women and face no consequences for it. That's what these dudes want. Because that involves getting your stuff together and going somewhere else and actually doing some family planning. You can't family plan around people who are compensated for destroying the family. There is no family planning model for that. Again, it's on the left and it's on the right. They're both doing the same thing. That's why the Manosphere is so focused on relationships. If they can guide you into dealing with these relationships, with these specific subsegment of guaranteed outcomes, they keep their platform. You really think all of these people in the Manosphere want you to get your stuff together? Want you to get with a conservative woman? What's going on, Scott Haywood? You really think the people in the Manosphere want you to do that? You really think that these people want to lose their voice that they just got off of you actually getting our shit together as a group? Do you really think that that's the case? It's not the case. It's impossible for it to be the case. So you got to understand, the less informed you are about a specific system and how to get specific things out of that system, the more you're going to be susceptible to people who want to give you comfort, but no plan of action. No plan of action. Ask them what their plan of action is and what's the timeline. That's how you know somebody's full of it or not. You got to be able to ask smart questions. Okay, cool. What's the timeline and how's this stuff going to work? Yeah. They sell you keys to the lion's cage. They're going to have you read that passage about Daniel in the Bible. I'll get to that, Terrence. Hold on a second. Daniel thought his faith was going to save him from that lion when he stepped in that lion's cage. When Daniel stepped into that lion's cage, he got his ass ate up for very specific reasons. One, you shouldn't be testing God's faith to come rescue you. Sometimes you got to have enough sense to not step your ass in a lion's cage and expecting other people to rescue you from the problems that you caused for yourself. I'm not saying unsubscribe from these people, because you need to understand what the plan is. The plan is for our collective stagnation and our collective failure. The plan is to act as a release valve from the women that they know these people are going to deal with in high number. They know that. What's wrong, Terrence B? What's going on, Sister Joy? So, this isn't hard. When I go home for Jackson State's homecoming, in a couple, I think 3 or 4 weeks from now, I go down there and I work with PhDs. PhDs who are actually doing some shit. PhDs who are actually in the community. PhDs who actually have food programs and everything else. You know what happens when they go up to most of these people in these communities? They want the benefits, but they don't want to sign the paper that they took the assistance. These are the very people who they're trying to help. Don't want to participate in the process at all. LM, that isn't exactly what happened, but I'm just talking about the situation that you put people in. But you have to realize this. The Manosphere collectively is trying to keep you attached to a person that's going to have a very specific outcome. When you go to other countries in the world, they don't have a system that's based on cannibalizing their own people. They don't have the money like that. These people very much depend on you dealing with a specific subsegment of woman to create all these other problems in society that you can easily get past. Why do you think they think an incel is the enemy? They want that incel out there dealing with the wrong type of woman so that way they can get paid off of this person. They want every single bit of person focused on game and nonsense and getting your body together and feeding it to somebody who don't deserve it. Bitch dependency is at an all-time high. Bitch dependency. Most of these dudes are so bitch dependent that if you remove the woman out of the conversation, these people literally have nothing to talk about. And they have the nerve to think that they're doing you a favor by trying to spread this poison of bitch dependency to other men. Again, the only thing you have to do is show up in numbers. Show up in numbers. Don't ask for shit. Just show up in numbers. Read the actual platforms on both sides. Like I said, I don't give a fuck if you're in the middle. I don't give a fuck if you're on the right. I'm obviously on the left. But when your ass is over there, I want you to organize for something while your ass is over there. You can't just be over there and just be happy about the point that you divested from the actual system in total. Because anybody can sit around and troll a group of people that you don't want to help, that you are fully dependent upon not getting their shit together. Yeah, it should be crimes against humanity. They should lock up the entire state government. They should put these people on trial. Whenever you mess the government up that bad, and very specifically, and refuse federal money to fixing a very specific problem, there should be some jail time over that shit. I don't believe in states' rights to the point to where you get to damage your own people. I don't believe in states' rights like that. I think if you mess something up very specifically to that point, you got to be held accountable for that shit. But Mississippi has always been this way. Has always been this way. So you have to understand that how dangerous it is for you to have your shit together. You also have to understand how dangerous it is for you to actually keep your money. have to understand how dangerous it is for you to enjoy life. A content man doesn't need consequences or problems of other people. But if you can be socialized into thinking that giving up choice for guaranteed consequences is a road that you need to be on, you're going to continuously empower these people, the wrong ones. You have to understand that when you first show up to start getting involved with the process itself, once you start learning about the issues, because it ain't but like 40 or 50 of them. Nope, Terrence B. truckers would not go on strike. They're too individualistic and they won't do anything. We could bring this diesel price down to $2.50 if people were coordinated, but they don't want to do things like that. So you guys have got to understand. No, I don't think Brett Favre is going to suffer any consequences. This is a guy who stole $50 million in welfare benefits over more than a couple of times from the state of Mississippi. That guy faced no consequences for it. But if a person bought the wrong type of food in Mississippi, they'll be prosecuted for it every single time. That's how Mississippi is. This is what I mean by equal protection under the law is something that you got to worry about. I'm not saying that I want protection for criminalistic people, and I want you to get your ass locked up every time for it. But, Terrence B., you have to look at how strikes work in other countries. Because people here are too weak to actually focus on one thing. They're too weak to do that. Because there ain't no real union word like there is no real union. And if they can't find somebody to ship something, they'll just up the prices and somebody else will ship it themselves. That's how that works. So this is how we're being leveraged by both sides of the political perspective. T.S.R. Johnson is still going to run his emotional grift game streams about talking about bullshit that is easily dodgeable if you just leave the fucking liberal black woman the fuck alone. And the fact that you going through this actual processes and procedures, that is the outcome of you fucking with this liberal woman, isn't going to help you do anything. It's going to help you be okay with being a victim. T.S.R. Johnson is not out pushing his plan to anybody, because that would be something that requires work. But if you could just simply just turn on a live stream and talk about problems that you have no interest in solving, but you clearly want to leverage those issues to enrich yourself, whether it's from attention or otherwise. I don't know what e-model cards are, LOM. I have no idea what that is, unless you can spell it out. Again, Tariq Nasheed is going to get you to fight his FBA battle for him. Tariq Nasheed is never going to organize for anything politically. He's not even going to organize for reparations, because the reparations is a pie in the sky thing. You're not going to get people from Nebraska, Idaho, North and South Dakota, Montana, West Virginia, New Hampshire, Maine, North Carolina, Kentucky to vote on your actual reparations issue. But there are a ton of other issues that you can organize for that can help just as many people than those issues. Same thing from Jason Black. Why do you think all these people got these big ass platforms are never really specifically involved with organizing for a specific thing? They got their voice by these problems being in place. They're not going to get rid of these problems to solve your issues. Because most people don't even know how easy it is for these issues to be solved. They're used to fleecing ignorant ass people. They're used to doing it. This is why people in politics don't take these people seriously. This is why people thought that, oh, Ice Cube came with a plan. How come they're not meeting with Ice Cube? Ice Cube is a person that is responsible for destroying his own fucking community. Ice Cube is a person that did not check in with anybody locally who do this shit their whole lives. Ice Cube is an entertainer. Entertainers leverage the collective ignorance for cheap laughs among the populace. That's what they do. There's a lot of great people that do a lot of great things locally in that area. But Jeffrey Bearfield, I want you to listen to him. I want you to keep listening to him so that way you can notice the pattern on your own. I'm only telling you this so that way you can understand the pattern for yourself. I don't want to be the only one with all this information. I want to tell you how to notice the pattern. It's the same pattern. It's the same pattern. It's the same circular arguments. Hey, what's going on, Vanna Black? Yeah, I know it happens. These things are not hard. They're very easy. And they're very specific to get rid of. But you have to understand that there is a concerted effort, not by whites, but by blacks, to make sure other black people do not engage in the political process. There is a black voter enfranchisement problem by these entertainers and these people who have their whole lives based around the fact that there's going to be no progress. This stuff is not hard. It is not hard at all. Because I guarantee you this, if you swap the word black with white, swap the word white with Latino, you have the same people in those communities that are doing the same shit that these entertainers are doing over here. It is exactly the same. Exactly the same. You had corporate America, who benefited off slavery the most, had poor whites go fight an entire civil war for them. So that way corporate America can keep their slaves. So this shit is in the DNA of people to be screwed over. It's in the DNA of people to fight on other people's behalf and think that it's their collective power by itself. You have evangelical Christians who call themselves pro-life who don't want universal health care, but they want to protect the rights of the unborn. Like, when you got that type of power over a group, you can always re-leverage their ignorance freely. It's really not that difficult. You're not going to be able to change the mind of a radicalized people. If people are radicalized, you're not going to be able to change their mind. The only thing you got to do is fix yourself. You got to fix your own political ignorance. You got to reconcile with your own state or locality that you chose to live in. You have to reconcile that. No one else is going to solve that for you. I didn't know who Jefferson Davis was until I graduated high school. They didn't teach nothing about the Civil War in high school to us. They didn't teach nothing about that era to us. And those bondholders do not pay a lot of money to get their interests heard, David Drencher. We're getting sold out for like $10,000 and $20,000 donations that affect millions of people who can literally give like 50 cents to be able to fix these issues, can far outbuy these politicians. Once the people collectively start using Citizens United the way it's supposed to be used, the conservative Supreme Court will get rid of Citizens United. They will get rid of Citizens United. If the people start using the political system and start donating 50 cents from their paycheck to fund a specific candidate that's going to get them universal health care, they will get rid of Citizens United in a heartbeat. They sure do. They sure do. While the same individuals trying to claim how patriotic they are. I'm not going to lie. The Confederacy had the better generals. But the Union had the better plan and the better footing. The South was never going to win that war. Just like the British was never going to win against the American Revolution. As long as you had to sell your ass across those seas to get here, they could just wait your ass out on the coast and blast your ass before you even land. You were never going to win that war. It's the same people from the same areas causing the same problems. And now they don't even want to teach history in schools. They don't want to teach their history in schools because they don't like how it makes them look. It makes them look the same way that they look right now. Yes. Listen, if you wear red and you march around in formations, guerrilla war is your only option if you don't have as many forces as the other people do. I agree with what George Washington did. It was a very specific strategy. What's going on, Eric Bird? Make sure y'all hit the like button upon coming in. So again, the sexual politics is about you not getting your shit together. It's about you fighting vicariously through another person and accepting the same circumstances. Again, I'm teaching you how these things work so you can take a specific level of action. I'm not trying to take nothing away from you. That's what I'm saying. You didn't hear anything about any of that stuff until after you graduated school. Not understanding that it was Nixon that put in a lot of these government organizations about protecting minority rights. Nixon put in a lot of these organizations. Once you learn about the actual history, that's when you can get on the same page. That's when you can get on the same page. That's when you can walk. What's going on, Cedric Webb? That's when you can get on the same page with people. Yes, he did. Nixon did a lot. A lot. He don't get credit for it, and no one ever talks about it. But he did a lot. He also started the war on drugs, but nobody ever talks about that. They only talk about super predators and shit. But see, you could do all this stuff if you learn and know about the history. So when MSNBC was pointing it out, they did a very horrible job, but they talk about how easy it is to get a platform as long as you focus on women. Oh, hell no, they didn't talk about Nat Turner and Marcus Garvey or any of that shit. I mean, the only person they talked about was Martin Luther King. That's it. Malcolm X, kind of. Only as a contrast to Martin Luther King, even though he was heavily focused on. Again, you have to solve this problem on your own. Bernard Riley is doing the same shit, allowing for all these lunatics to get up there and not correct the record. So now they expect for everybody else to keep cleaning up after them. Yeah, oh, hell no, they didn't talk about no inventors in school. Nowhere. The only thing they focused on was the cotton gin because that shit helped them make more money. They really didn't concentrate on anything else. Again, this stream is not to get you to hate white people. This is not a white people-based stream. This is not a stream about hating women. This is not a stream about LGBT motherfuckers. It's just not a stream about none of that shit. This is a stream about letting you know how black people are fucking you over, not whites. These are black people who's trying to teach you game and get your ass messed up and stuff, not whites. Again, this whole process is about ensuring that you do not learn about the history, you do not adjust to the history, and you do not participate in society in any meaningful fashion. They don't talk about it. They don't talk about the George Washington Carvers. They don't talk about it. You want to know why? What's going on, D-Raptor? They don't want you participating in society. They don't want you being great like those people were great. They know damn well if they can connect you to the wrong type of woman, specifically, and you have these bullshit ass relationship issues that you can actually dodge, you're going to continuously have the same problem. Every single time. It is quite specific. It is quite particular. You can calculate this stuff all the way to a decimal point. I was raised in the South, so they didn't talk about this shit in the South at all. Yes. They don't want you to know that Thomas Edison was a patent troll. He didn't really invent all that much shit, but he did fight the fight in court so that way he could steal patents from other people. That's what he was actually known for. But then again, if you knew how the court system worked and all this kind of other shit, you wouldn't have to worry about women. You could just walk away from the women that don't want to fucking deal with you. Yes, it is your obligation and your duty to replace them. Your obligation and your duty to replace them. Why don't you go to 23andMe? Get your DNA map. Why don't you see how black you're not? You ain't as black as you think you are. Your ass got white blood running through you, Native American blood running through you, all types of shit running through you. Why are you trying to live up this pro-black bullshit? And I'm not talking about sexually using these women as a, getting your sexual scavenger on with the same women that you complain about. That's some bullshit. They're really leveraging your collective ignorance and your inability to figure out how simplistic things work. They know exactly how this stuff works. I'll tell you what. Call in to any one of these shows and ask them a very specific question about a timeline. See how quickly they get your ass off the phone. See how quickly they get your ass off the phone the moment you start talking about tangibles and shit. Yeah. Ask them about timeline. See how quickly they get your ass off the phone. But you have to realize that these problems breed these type of people. They always want to get you invested in fighting the wrong type of problem. I guarantee you there's a ton of shit locally that you don't like that's happening. Yeah, of course it takes work. Work that they're not going to put in. Work that actually subtracts from their bottom line. Again, it's not white people who's doing this shit. Richard Dixon, I agree. I think a patriarchal system is more about how it operates, not how it looks. These people try to put you on the how it looks piece so that way you can include a very specific problem into your actual solution that has never worked in large numbers and in large quantities. I tell women all the time, if a dude ain't got this shit together and he's still fucking, that's a woman problem. If a man still wants to accept that woman after she done that, that's a man problem. Taking care of this bullshit outside of that, that's a societal problem. But at the end of the day, you can choose whether or not you want to invest in that type of system. You cannot allow these people who do not give a damn about your overall well-being to guilt trip you into involving them in a system that they never believed in. I don't have arguments with women at all. I understand the extent of their power, and I understand the extent of my choice. When a man regains the right of the first right of refusal, a society can't handle you doing that. The ugliest man, the fattest man on the fucking planet has a hell of a lot more power through productivity, choice, and location than a woman does with beauty in any specific location. You think these gay motherfuckers gonna tell you that shit? No. No. Why on earth would they give you keys to your own castle when they could give the keys to her? Yeah, she'll get that shit. Yeah. But see, they want to keep you pot committed to a system that does not benefit you. What's going on, Mike B? What's going on, Mom Perry? What kind of friend of yours want to keep you pot committed to a system that don't benefit you? What kind of person does that? Everybody's always pro-black. Everybody's always pro-family. But none of these people want to take responsibility for how fucked up things are right now. How many people who collectively want to take the collective punishment for the actual outcomes we have right now? What community-minded person? What actual person who's pro-black who want to take the collective punishment for the actual outcomes that we see right now? Where are they? They're nowhere to be found. Say it again. A man's individual choice can shake the heart of a fucking nation. You regain that first right of fucking refusal, and you tell these people, fuck you, I am not going to deal with you, no matter what comes out of your mouth, no matter how much you try to pander towards my insecurities, no matter what you do. The moment you say that shit and you refuse to play, you won. You win when you find somebody just as interested in the outcome that you are. That's a cultural dynamic. That's not a racial dynamic. That's a cultural dynamic. That's right. It's cultural. And all a culture is a track record of collective decisions with a predictable outcomes. You damn right I won without the motherfuckers. Yes, I spent my whole life doing this shit without niggas. And it fucking worked. So now that I got my shit together, these motherfuckers want to crawl all over shit. Man, get out of here with that. No. But see, most of these people want to have the nigga inclusion act. They want to include these crazy ass, ignorant ass, no track record, no sense of self, no sense of self-worth, nothing. They want to include these people consistently in your plans. Why? Because you know full well this stuff isn't going to work. There are two groups of black men that are the problem. These are our two problems. IBMs and ICBMs. Both of these people operate the same damn way. How many of these conservative black men only open their mouth whenever liberal women do shit? It ain't about their collective power by staying the fuck away from these women. No. And that's a real problem, LOM. It's a real problem. Because how dare you have a retirement and you ain't sharing that shit with the community? That ain't your productivity. That's Keisha's money. They trying to figure out how to get Keisha's money out of your pocket to serve they bullshit ass needs. The last thing these sexual communists want to hear is that you individually have your shit together and that you're not putting it collectively on the group. Yeah. They don't want to hear when you try to separate from a system and you're doing shit for yourself. The only thing you're doing is you managing your choices the way they manage their choices. That's the only thing that you're doing differently than they're doing. They want to manage their clock and they want to manage your clock. You can't let these people get away with this shit. Oh yeah, Cream Team is gonna stay a threat. Keisha rules everything around me. Cream get the money. That's what it is. What's going on? No excuses. Cream team. That's what these motherfuckers own. Everything about a bitch. Wake up thinking about a bitch. Everything's about that. It's crazy. I'm just saying this. You have to operate as an individual like they operated as an individual their entire lives. You got to be hyper individualistic out here about getting your own results. And when they start talking that community shit, you smile like a fucking Joker smile when they start talking about that bullshit. Because they're trying to get you invested in their survival. Again, I can make my points without throwing any group under the bus. This is about you. Most other people seem to understand this shit. But whenever we come to black men, we don't understand this shit at all. You got to learn how to say no. You got to learn how to say, you know what? I'm too focused on my own future to be worried about short-term sex. Juicy J gonna produce it. And listen, I'm not for the decent women who fucking done it right to be left out. These are the only people I want to be focused on. So the women win anyway. The correct ones. That's why I say it makes very little sense to focus on the women that you don't want. It makes very little sense to focus on people that you don't want to be around. It makes very little sense. So, let me explain something to you guys in the Manosphere. You got 4 groups within this country, or 4 areas within this country. You got blue areas and blue states. You got blue areas and red states. You got red areas and blue states, and you have red areas and red states. Most of these people in the Manosphere live in blue areas and blue states, or blue areas and red states. You want to know why? They love a functioning democracy. They love a functioning liberal-ass based system that covers everybody in society. Never do you see these people live in conservative red state America with all this individualism and shit. I can guarantee you don't want to live outside the Denver metro area when it fucking snows. They don't do the roads out there. You go 20 miles to the west of Aurora, to the east of Aurora, all the way to Lyman. They don't do the fucking roads out there. Once your ass begin Weld County, you're fucked. I'm telling you, these areas that have these high concentration of educated personnel, this is where these people live at. And they live off the collective of everybody else who's actually invested in society. Yeah, you know how that shit is. Once you go west of Topeka, all the way to fucking Lyman, after it fucking snows, you'll think you're driving on a different planet going up and down them long sloping ass hills. Trust me. Small government is about depriving certain people of actual government resources. It works very well for the companies, doesn't really work very well for you, the individual person. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, they actually changed the name of it once they built the new stadium. With taxpayer money, by the way. So all groups of men can learn from this specific problem because a lot of these other men are being leveraged racially the same way that these people are doing within the manosphere. It's the same process. The process is individual. You have to individually get your shit together. They want you to give up on the power of the individual if it cannot serve their group. Group stagnation benefit these people a lot. Yeah. Brett Favre stole how many millions of dollars in welfare? Didn't go to jail for it. Didn't get prosecuted for it. Nothing. Again, this is not hard. Everybody depends on your collective ignorance of not knowing how simple and basic shit works. Everybody benefits. Yeah, welfare came. You damn right he was. They don't want you to feel like a whole individual unless somebody can feed off of you. This is crazy. Yes, so black men from the left and black men from the right are trying to keep you in the middle. Not invested, not involved, not reading, not discussing, not doing shit. Yet still complaining about the same problem without taking effective action on how to fix it. All these so-called educated people here, but they can't specifically tell you how to get this shit popping. And the biggest welfare kings and queens are the people who benefit the most off of our stagnation. Again, working with power is very easy. Working against power and expecting shit from power is extremely hard. I can simply break these things down to you about how to get this shit working. But you know what's not going to help? You know what's not going to help you? Trolling and stupid shit ain't going to help you. It's not going to help you. Not knowing what the fuck is going on or saying that whenever you can't really answer any question, oh, you must be an operative of the Democrat Party. It's always that shit when you know what the hell is going on and they're trapped. You're always an actual agent from the Democrat Party. You're never an agent for the conservative movement for not having your shit together. Your fight has to be connected to their fight. And yes, we as black men have to start all over. You want to know why? We squandered our political capital by focusing on bullshit issues. We kept fighting to be represented in fucking Hollywood rather than being represented on a one-to-one basis inside our households. We fought for collective fucking foolishness by trying to be a goddamn entertainer rather than being a productive individual on a household by household basis. Cedric Webb, they cannot do that. Most of these PhDs are here to intellectualize black male failure and not going to give you specifically the directions on how to get out of this problem because that's how they got their voice. And after the Woman King and the Little Mermaid, there'll be something else to fucking go to. It's always emotional stimulation and control of the people. It's never any tangible processes to move past these issues. There's always something else to focus on. That's all where we are, folks. That's how simple the answer is to very specific questions. Most of voting is about stopping things from happening. You don't really get anything out of voting all that much. You make it's trench warfare. Yes. It's not even about left right. It's about looking at both of these political platforms and figure out where you get the most out of it. And you can't say dumb shit like I don't want to pay taxes because that ain't for you. That's for corporations. Stupid shit. Stupid shit. You're right. It's always a symbolic victory that they want to fight towards. It's always a symbolic victory. It's never tangible. It's always a symbolic victory. Hey, that shit too, Eric Bird. I don't give a fuck about Gnocchi. I don't give a fuck about Gnocchi. I don't give a fuck about you going into a community that you ain't supposed to be in and your ass getting off by some bitch that you shouldn't be around. Man, I don't give a fuck about that shit. Every time we look around, there's some Nipsey Hussle or some other motherfucker getting off by the same reptiles that they thought that they was cool with. Man, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. None of it. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. It ain't got shit to do with my collective motherfucking or individual fucking benefit. Stopping all progress to focus on some dude who signed up to leverage his fake ass street experience, lying to fucking record companies like they had that shit. Man, fuck that shit. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't care about that shit, man. You're on a triple decker level of exploitation, exploiting your own community, exploiting your community to a record company that don't give a fuck about you for points on the dollar. Now you're getting exploited by an actual woman who set your ass up to die in a community that you thought you was representing. In a state or city where you supposedly checked in at or had to check in at. Like, what kind of shit is this? I don't give a fuck about those people, man. I don't care about them. They don't move the ball, man. They don't move the needle. They move the needle for self. Again, it's always something else to fucking focus on, isn't it? Everything but telling you what you need to do. They want you to always give up on the power of the individual, man. You want to exploit your community and you got to check in with somebody else's. Fuck out of here. Yeah. If you just individually got a skill, separated from this bullshit, it don't even matter if you make $30,000 or $40,000 a year. You can still buy a house off of that shit. Get some equity in your house. Turn your fucking skill into a 1099 situation, from a 1099 situation to a corporate situation, leveraging these government contracts and shit. Yeah, man, that's where the money's at. The money is not around putting shit together, trying to make words and phrases and beats on stupid shit. They can't have progress, man. They can't have it. Yeah, just pay attention. Pay attention to what these people leverage. It's always some bullshit. It's always some bullshit. This woman ain't gonna change her mind. The only way she's gonna change her mind is that if you take all her fucking options away. But you can't take all her options away because there's an actual printing press of creating these niggas from these goddamn nigger farms that's gonna fucking keep this shit rolling, man. So why would you be concerned about trying to fix women when you could just fix you? You can wait on them to give up power, or you can go for your own power. You can wait on these people who are leveraging your collective ignorance to give up the right to do so, or you could go for your own shit. Think about it. The moment a dude move out, he started doing well for himself. He got a woman that looked better than anything that they could actually fucking get in the hood. Guess what they started doing? They started hating on dude. How you get a woman like that? Well, I got all this game and I ain't with nowhere. Well, I'm trying to mess that dude stuff up. Yeah, dude, leave these people alone, man. I tell you what I did. I bought the fucking projects and I shut them bitches down and I moved all the motherfuckers right around the police station. That's what I fucking did. Fuck y'all. You want to go to jail? Live around the police station. Fuck y'all. And these backbiting pieces of shit want to weaponize children against us. Yeah. These people created all these fucking kids so that way they can make themselves a new blackness by just sheer numbers of misinformed kids. Fuck out of here. I, man, there ain't no way I'm gonna fucking invest in a system like that. I'm sorry, man. Man, this shit's nuts. I'm not doing that. Yeah, dude, it's hard to fight group economics. It's very hard to fight group economics. Your ass is getting hidden everywhere, but under your eyelids and under your fucking soles of your feet. You feel the fucking heat of that shit. Yeah, man, we're dealing with the outcomes of unnatural selection, the great procreation. The great procreation, when these people just start throwing kids out there into the world with no relevance of how these people was going to be raised. We're dealing with the children of the lean generation and all types of other shit right now. No reason. That's why they had to destroy the family unit. think it was whites who came in and just started making people do this shit? No, black motherfuckers destroyed the family fucking unit. Yeah, these uneducated pieces of shit destroyed the fucking family unit. That's what happened. They destroyed the family unit. They seen how powerful the family unit was and how the family unit wasn't going to support the wrong type of fucking woman. These men destroyed the fucking family unit. They trying to put this shit off on the fucking women. The men fucking destroyed the family unit, bruh. It was the men who decided to keep making deals with the wrong type of fucking women. It was the men who did that shit. The men did that. Not the women. The men fucking did that. The men decided that they was going to turn young ass dudes into pussy hounds so that way they can have a place of leadership among these women. It's the men who did that shit. It wasn't the women who did that shit. Now, they accepted the power that the men gave them. But overall, it was the men who decided to give up their own power of productivity to invest in her system. The men decided to do that. I don't understand how we're pointing all these fingers to other groups of people. This is our fucking problem. This is our fight. Our only shot and chance, we're going to give it to people who we know don't do us no fucking good. That's what we did with our only shot. Our only chance. Our only chance at doing shit, we decided to make super chat money off SBN. That's what they decided to do. They couldn't wait to make the woman the center of their fucking universe. And I'm not talking about the right woman. I'm talking about the wrong kind. If the assumption is that all these people are a specific way, then why you keep fucking with them? Don't mind me. I'm just a motherfucking hater pointing out factual information, trying to get you to participate in the fucking system. That's going to give you fucking power. They don't want you having individual power. They want your ass to have individual subjugation, not power. My ideal of gentrification is inviting them fucking tall ass sentinels from the X-Men cartoons to patrol these fucking communities. You step out of line, one of them fucking 30 story tall motherfuckers take your ass out. But a lot of these people can't really exist around order. They don't know how to deal with order. They have less rights under order. They have more rights under chaos. They have more rights under that shit. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the women taking every one of these dumbass motherfuckers to the cleaners. Every one of them. I don't feel sorry for none of these motherfuckers. None of them. You made a fucking deal. You lay in your fucking bed. If you do not make that shit our collective fucking problem. This is your fucking problem. Yours. You went there. You made a deal. You go deal with that shit. You decided to put yourself in a sexual payday loan fucking scheme. That's your fucking problem. That's your problem. Not our problem. And we're not focusing on fucking child support before we focus on the productivity piece. Yeah. Yeah, man, them big, tall, purple motherfuckers. That's what I'm talking about, man. There's no culture of people that work together that center their shit around criminality. I mean, you had the mafia doing it, but the mafia did it to everybody. Yeah, man. That you word life, you right. These niggas signed a fucking 360 deal with these hoes, and they wanted us to fucking pay for the shit. Fuck you. You signed a 360 deal with that bitch. I didn't do that. You signed a 360 deal with fucking Keisha, and now you want the collective Manosphere to fucking pay for it. Man, fuck you. That's your problem. You have very specific systems that don't nobody even want to fucking read about. It's been the same system that's been here for 200 fucking years, and we still trying to have the same fucking conversation with the same divested fucking men. Politically divested fucking men. Of course they did. The government is fucked up. But the government being fucked up has nothing to do with your lack of ability to engage in the actual productivity based conversation. Yeah. No royalties off the game, nothing. The women Suge Knight the fuck out of them dudes, man. Took all their shit. Took everything they had. Don't worry about it, man. Sleep on this fucking couch. Play this fucking Madden. And once you give me this kid and I get the fuck out of my house, bye. Yeah, man, these are master mode maggles, man. Maggle mode. They wanted to reproduce this problem all over society, man. This shit's nuts. They're only proud of you when you have the same problems that they do. They're only proud of you when your ass is on child support. That's the problem. But don't worry about it. You can just hide behind YouTube analytics and all other stupid shit. Anything to keep your fucking platform, right? And you have the nerve to fucking come around here pushing this fucking political ignorance on these fucking people who don't know how shit works. These people are picking up crops and they're deliberately relocating these crops to a fucking desert so that way they'll never grow. They're deliberately doing that, by the way. They're looking for a reason. They're looking for a reason to start the fucking conversation over. Why? There was no progress on their part. So now they have to relocate behind the person that is the newest to the conversation to hide their individual level of non-progression. And they're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. But what you got to understand that there is a way out. There's always been a way out. You just have to leave all this shit alone and behind. You can't feel sorry for these people, man. You got to learn how to deal with all other types of people. That's why I want to keep this shit so black. Because if you keep this shit all the way black, you're going to keep it dysfunctional than a motherfucker. You're going to always have some snake ass motherfucker who come through on some bullshit. They want that to be a normal thing for you to go through. They don't want you separating from this shit. They don't want you having your own money to the fact that you ain't giving this shit away. This shit is easy, man. It's easy at this point, bruh. Again, it's our own people that's doing this shit to us. It ain't nobody else. Because this shit is easy to see from my vantage point. That's where we at. That's where we are, man. So what you have to notice at this point, it's time for some action. And I'm not talking about group action because I don't believe in the group. I don't believe in that collective bullshit. I think that you should move to an area that's going to help you out. You can't wait on other people to represent this shit for you. It ain't gonna work. This shit is individual. Ever notice they don't want to show up and talk to me? You ever notice that? I'm never on the panel when these bullshit ass conversations are going on. I'm never up there. I could give your ass a point by point fucking plan to get us the fuck out of here. If that's what you want. But a lot of these people, they're too tied into the profit margin of this shit to have this shit change. Mm-hmm. And these are the people who operate like the white supremacists that they want to claim the white supremacists are. The white supremacists are not fucking over here trying to not get you to participate in society and life. They want to blame them for shit that you're doing. They want to blame them for shit that they're doing. How many times have you heard the hurricane can't fucking add shit to the conversation, jumps on the panel, and try to drag the conversation back to black women? And guess what? Art Newstar never kicked that motherfucker off the panel the moment he do that shit. Even though he does it every single time he comes on the panel. Never hold these motherfuckers to no responsibility. Never had these motherfuckers put up or shut up about what their fucking plan is. I don't want to hear dumbass niggas talk and speak. I don't want to hear that shit. But like I said, this shit is happening from the left and the right. That's what it is. You're supposed to stay conveniently in the middle, allow dumb niggas to get their shit off, and not do shit. And the same fucking thing happens over and over and over again with no collective fucking benefit to anybody. You fight this fucking gender war because your ass should not be on the field fighting for anything else. Some dumbass shit. Dumb as fuck. It's okay to say that you don't know what the fuck is going on and you don't know where to get started at. That's okay. That's an okay thing to say. It's the most realistic thing you can say. But like I said, man, all these dudes are just going to keep up with the same conversation because it's the same pattern. We've been here 5 years now, 6 years now. Same pattern. But that's them. Let them dudes keep complaining about how they're losing, man. Let them dudes keep complaining about how they're losing. The motherfuckers in the military had no problem with me claiming I'm conservative and I didn't know who the fuck Jefferson Davis was. Them niggas thought I was out of my rabbit black ass fucking mind. You think the motherfuckers corrected my ignorance? No. My ignorance fucking helped them out. Why the fuck would they correct me? If I'm doing damage to my own fucking self for their collective fucking benefit, why the fuck would they care about this shit? You're gonna have to do the work. There ain't gonna be no super chats, no live streams, no nothing. You have to beat up by your motherfucking self. And as soon as you get done, you gotta not give it up to the wrong people. Not hard. So with that said, I've been here almost 2 hours. I normally don't go this long. I normally go an hour. But you have to understand, the left and the right of the black manosphere, if they're talking about sexual politics, them motherfuckers have no reason to think that your ass should benefit from. Yeah. The only job you can get fresh out of prison, no matter what, you get your class A, you can go get on with anybody. Most people don't even know that. Hell yeah. They don't want you benefiting, man. They want you to stay stuck with them. So with that said, I want to thank you guys for coming through. Make sure you like the video among coming through. And I'm going to talk about this modern fucking man on Sunday. So that way you can understand how dangerous this motherfucker is to our collective benefit going forward. This modern man is exactly the enemy of all mankind. The enemy of everybody who's here. And they're not even less transparent about it. So with that said, I want to thank you guys for coming through. You guys have a really nice day.